Rigetti computing and other quantum computing stocks have been extremely volatile in recent weeks. Therefore, I thought it'd be important to look into the details of the company's latest developments so that investors can get an understanding of what's happening inside the company to navigate all of this volatility. So that's what I'll do in this video. I'll share with you the latest developments and what's going on with Rigetti computing stock.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so on November 12th, 2024, the company held a conference call with Wall Street analysts where the management team described the latest developments, starting with them stating that they're announcing a plan to introduce a new modular system architecture at Rigetti by mid-year 2025. They expect to release a 36-qubit system based on 4 9-qubit chips tiled together with a targeted 99.5% median 2-qubit gate fidelity. So that's for mid-year 2025. By the end of 2025, they expect to release a system with over 100 qubits with the targeted 99.5% median 2-qubit gate fidelity. For this year, they remain on track to develop and deploy an anticipated 84-qubit IONQ system with the goal of achieving 99+% fidelity by the end of 2024. So these are huge milestones for Rigetti, and overall, you've been seeing several milestones being reached by several quantum computing companies, including one of the most publicized milestone from Alphabet and Google and what they were able to achieve. And that really put fuel on the fire of all of these quantum computing stocks and the quantum computing industry because of what Alphabet achieved and the publicity that Alphabet was able to generate and attract to the industry. So these stocks have been extremely volatile, jumping up by 60% in one day and falling by 40% in one day. So investors in this industry have to be prepared for that kind of volatility. Probably not forever, but in the near term, that kind of volatility will likely persist. Volatility in the stock market is it works in clusters, meaning that if there's a big volatility event in one day, that volatility, that high level of volatility tends to persist for a couple of days. You don't typically have one day where the stock price moves up by 84% and the next day where the stock price moves by just 0.6%, right? You don't typically have that. Volatility in the stock market tends to cluster. So if you have one day of 84%, the next day is likely to be another large move in the price. Up or down is uncertain, but the volatility, the magnitude of the movement, you can predict, and it has been predicted by researchers over the previous decades. So the company is saying that system speed is an important factor to enable hybrid computing with current CPUs and GPUs. And so this is huge because the biggest improvements in computing technology we've seen has come from accelerated GPUs in recent years. Of course, the achievements reached by NVIDIA and its GPUs have enabled so much improvement in computing and so much improvement in what technology can provide. Most notably, of course, the large language models popularized initially by ChatGPT in late 2022. And that really that's really driving this arms race for computing power. And right now, most of that arms race is going into artificial intelligence. Most of the investments are going into artificial intelligence to build those data centers optimized for AI. And so Rigetti is trying to work within that system, trying to benefit from that ecosystem that's already getting built up and the interest that it's attracting. And so in the third quarter of this year, they demonstrated tiling of 9-qubit chips without deterioration in performance. They believe the anticipated 4-chip 36-qubit system will be the most ambitious multi-chip QPU architecture in the market. So they're shooting for the highest, most ambitious multi-chip in the market out of all the quantum computing companies out there. And there's several, right? You have IONQ, you have Quantum Computing Corporation, Rigetti, and there's others. And then you have the larger companies like Alphabet and IBM that are also working on quantum computing. So there's considerable energy and effort already in this category, in this system, but it's still very early days. It's still very early days in this ecosystem. So the company believes that the combination of their ABAA technique and multi-chip architecture is the cornerstone of their scaling strategy as they move into developing higher qubit count systems. And that's going to be the key, is developing systems that are scalable, that can be commercially viable in large magnitude. That's really what turns this from a research project into a viable corporation that generates revenue and profit and cash flow. Right now, that's still a long ways away, but they've got to build the foundation so that if there is the breakthrough and if there is that match and they find the right recipe, they can scale it out relatively quickly because the foundation is built on something that can be scalable. And I think all of these quantum computing corporations and quantum computing companies are taking a similar approach. They're working on researching things that can be scalable, things that can be commercially viable, because without that, you can't really have a sustainable business. You need to make it commercially viable. There needs to be use cases that can drive interest for these products beyond the initial, which is right now it's government funded projects. The few government institutions that are interested in this technology, utilizing this technology, and of course NASA with its big deal with quantum computing. That really, those kinds of institutions and those kinds of deals are what's happening right now. But the industry is looking for, 3 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, deals with corporations, enterprises like Amazon and Walmart and Alphabet and Meta Platforms, etc. That's when the industry revenue and profitability can explode and generate returns for investors. Right now, the reason there's so much volatility is because the businesses are still in very early stages, and each one of these milestones has huge implications for the company's survival and the company's success in the long term. With each milestone they hit, with each announcement they make, it changes the perception, the trajectory of the business, and it changes the valuation considerably. 5 years from now, that might not be the case. 5 years from now, these types of announcements and these types of milestones will not likely move these stock prices as much as they're moving them now. Of course, maybe one of the reasons why you're interested in these quantum computing stocks is because of that volatility, is because you can get such a large gain in one day. And maybe that's what has you attracted to this industry. Nevertheless, the volatility will likely decrease over the years. Hey everyone, so many of you have been asking about my investing strategy, and I'm excited to announce that I've written a book that's available for sale now that describes my 6-step investing framework for evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.